Cecil Erb's arrested in Dubuque, Iowa, and immediately calls Georgia Watson. They call and discuss it throughout the entirety of that conversation, plus the ones that follow in Dubuque, as well as the ones from here in Weld County. They consistently remind each other, hey, don't say anything, these calls are recorded, don't say anything, these calls are recorded. In particular, though, there are a couple of calls that really stick out in my mind from the jail. One of those is Georgia says something to the effect of, you said this would work, which is pretty damning by her saying, you said this would work, implicates her knowledge of what happened here. And at one point in time, in a different call, Cecil Erb says, well, at least you're getting your house paid for. And she says, nope. And there's a discussion about her not getting her house paid for, and the plan was to use the insurance money to pay for her house. So it's clear they had talked about the insurance policy. It's clear that they wanted the money from the insurance policy to pay off her house. And as much as they tried to say, don't say anything, that we're getting recorded, that in and of itself is fairly damning, because why else would you say that unless you knew something? So we have a lot of circumstantial evidence of her conspiring with Cecil Erb, encouraging him to commit this crime. The one other thing with the phone calls and throughout the course of this investigation is Georgia Watson showed no remorse, no sadness over her ex-husband's death. He's a father. They were obviously in love at some point in time, and not once does she say, it's too bad what happened to Jeff, not in a jail call, not to police, never. When we're investigating a crime like this and looking into Georgia Watson, we already had Cecil Erb arrested. And what my office is looking at, do we have a reasonable likelihood of convicting Georgia Watson? We looked at all the evidence, the insurance policy, the call the week before, the statements that Justin Bruner had overheard, along with statements to close friends of hers. And when we looked at that, I mean, she's the but-for in this case. But for her, Jeff Watson would still be alive. So we decided we had enough to charge her at that point in time, and did charge her with conspiracy to commit murder. When we present a case to a jury, the defense attorneys will say, well, if he had the intent, he didn't, go and hide the gun, or he didn't go and do this. And my response always is, we aren't accusing him of being a criminal mastermind. We're just accusing him of committing the crime. Because, Cecil Erb's found with the gun. He's found with the empty casings. He makes calls and says things that are very incriminating over the calls, knowing they're recorded. He confesses to cellmates. He is not a criminal mastermind. He was Georgia's weapon of choice.
Georgia believed in love. She was always looking for true love. Hopeless romantic in every aspect. She listened to love songs. She wanted to watch those love movies and cuddle, even if it was with me or her son. I always kind of dreamed, I want a love like that, and looked for it. At first, after Georgia and Jeffrey got married, she was elated. It was a whole different Georgia. I've seen her happy, but not this happy before. She seemed like she had more excitement, more promise of a good future. As time went by, the happiness dwindled away. The day I heard about Jeffrey Watson and the gruesome details of the murder, it was like something out of a movie. That doesn't happen in Weld County. That doesn't happen in Greeley, the town that I was born in, that I grew up in. It was beyond shocking, unbelievable. It's just, that stuff doesn't happen here. I hear Georgia got arrested. And the only thing I could think of was, you gotta be kidding me. How could they possibly think Georgia would have anything to do with this? What was she arrested for? What's her charges? Where's her attorney? When can we speak to her attorney? Found out they were going to trial, and it was still the same thoughts. Are we gonna be called? We're character witnesses. We've known her. We've known her forever. They don't know her. I did not attend her trial. I regret not going. But at the same time, I'm glad I didn't. I am not a quiet person. I see people lying, I'm gonna have an outburst in court and probably be arrested myself. I am upset that myself and my mother never got called to testify on George's behalf. All I could think of is what could we do as people that love her to support her through this. There's no way she's gonna get convicted. No way. But that's where the nightmare started. She got convicted. And we're still sitting here wondering how could a jury of her peers look at her, listen to her, and convict her of this crime. Maybe there needed to be more evidence on George's behalf displayed at the trial, and she wouldn't have got convicted. And that's where we're at still today. Living a nightmare. My mom wants her best friend back. I know Georgia doesn't want to be in there. I talk to her from time to time. But when is that gonna happen? And when it does happen, it doesn't erase everything. She's now a convicted felon. How's her life gonna be now? She's not gonna be she isn't the same Georgia. Real happy, outgoing, can't wait to help somebody. And that's not her anymore. Georgia isn't what you see in the newspapers. She's not what they read in a file saying she's this criminal mastermind. Georgia's far from a criminal mastermind. Sweet, kind-hearted, do anything for anybody. The only thing I hope now is she realizes that people's intentions aren't truthful. They aren't honest. And it's sad to say that she needs to shut her heart to that.
Georgia Watson thought she'd get away, but all her statements to people in the past, her jail calls, and her calls to the insurance company, and her greed and lack of remorse put her behind bars for this crime. She got 48 years at initial sentencing because the judge thought her crime was so heinous, and it was. But the courts of appeals later found that she didn't have enough aggravators, so they reduced it to 24, which is the maximum of the regular range for the crime. But we asked for the maximum, and that's what the judge gave her because that's what this crime called for.
I didn't know him, but I feel bad for Jeff. I feel bad for his family. He did not deserve what he got. His family didn't deserve to miss out on many, many years to come. But George is a victim too. She lost her life, originally getting sentenced to 48 years. I immediately got on Google and looked up what are the sentence terms for conspiracy to first-degree murder. 48 years isn't in that. It's 8 to 24. I said, okay, well maybe it's because the trial was in Weld County. A lot of maybes. She shouldn't have got 48 years. I was elated to find out it got dropped down to 24.
It made headlines of what she did, what she plotted, what she was going for. I mean, they gave her 48 years for murder on something that shouldn't have happened, in my eyes. You know, if you lose something, go on with your life. Don't go plotting somebody and get them murdered just for money, insurance money. You know, that's... But I think she deserved what she got.
I didn't feel that anybody would shoot and murder Jeffrey Watson. He was a nice, outgoing man, so why would somebody do that to him? And the fact that the media would come up with reasons to blame Georgia too? No way. I know her. She would never harm anybody. She would not conspire to violently hurt anybody. She's a caring person. She is a caregiver. She will be a caregiver and a loving person to people for the rest of her life. That's the way she is.
Georgia is someone who basically was a very manipulative person who ruined the lives of 4 people. She ruined Jeff's life, she ruined her own life, and she ruined the 2 lives of the people she got involved in this. She destroyed a family by what she did. She left a good child without his father. He now has a kid and a wife, and neither one of them will ever have met his father because of this. She was a greedy person who tried to pull one over the system by having someone killed, and it backfired. She didn't see a dime of that.
Jeff was a good friend, a good man, and he deserves so much better. Yeah. He deserved a good life with a good wife. Yeah. And he got none of that.